Hello children, welcome back to the online class. Children, today we shall start with a very important poem, that is The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. Now, the very title of the poem, Road Not Taken. Children, here the very poem gives you a clear hint, the road not taken. Somewhere the mission was incomplete. Now children, here the road could be taken up as choices we make in life, right? Literal meaning, if we talk about, then we are talking about road, but again the road has been symbolized as choices or decisions. So the choice not taken, or anything which is incomplete, this is what the title says, the road not taken, right? And if we talk about the poet Robert Frost, Robert Frost is again a very famous poet, children, and he was an American poet whose work got published even in England. And children, he is one such writer who has won Pulitzer Award, a highest award, twice, two times, right? And most of his poems, you will read, children, are symbolic by nature and has a very sound message, right? Symbolic poems, children, it means that somewhere or the other you will find his poems are associated with life. So similarly, today we are going to start with the poem Road Not Taken. Now you can also open to page number 160 of your textbook, and you will see that first of all the poem is divided into 5 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? And every line has, every stanza has 5 lines. So what first we will do is, first we will learn, or first we will get to know about the setting of the poem. Now, the setting of the poem is, children, every prose has a setting, means where has the prose or poem set. For example, this class has been set in the classroom, right? So setting would be in the classroom. So if we talk about the poem Road Not Taken, the setting of the poem is forest trail, right? So the author is standing at a forest, and somewhere at a divergent, children, this is a sort of divergent. The poet is standing over here, and what he can see is two roads, literally, symbolically two choices. Children, our day starts with choice. You see, at home also, when we are like morning time, we have varieties of breakfast made at home. Maybe you like to eat pizza. Maybe someone likes to eat parathas. So the day starts with a choice, right? So this poem is also based on choices. We will learn more. So if we talk about the setting of the poem, it is a forest trail. Now if we talk about the other aspects of the poem, like for example, if I talk about the tone of the poem. So the tone of the poem, if I talk, the tone is solemn, but the writer claims that the poem has been written in a very light mood. He was not like very confused or bewildered. No, he says that the poem was written in a very light mood, right? Solemn yet light mood, right? Next, we find here theme. Already it is mentioned, choices we make in life or decision making. These things are very important in life, children. Our entire future is based upon choices we make today, right? Next comes rhyme scheme. Now children, for rhyme scheme, what you need to do is you need to underline the last words of every line. So as you can see, would, both. So would you can underline and write it as A, right? Then we find both. We can write it, since would and both are not rhyming, so that I have mentioned it as B. Then you find stood, would and stood. So A is again there, right? So A, B, A. Then I find could, would, stood, could. Again it is matching, so I can mention it A, right? And then I find both, growth, B. So what I found, what I derived is the rhyme scheme of the poem. The very first stanza says that it has followed the rhyme scheme A B A A B. Right? Theme already discussed. Message we will discuss at last. Now children, as the poem you see is divided into how many paragraphs? 5 paragraphs. So we see now what the poem is all about. The poet says that two roads diverged in a yellow wood. Now what does yellow wood tell us? Yellow wood indicates two things, right? Dry. Yellow, when does the wood turn yellow? So it turns yellow, generally it indicates autumn season. First thing you can write there, yellow wood indicates autumn season. And at the same time, in the very first line, the writer has used a very good figure of speech or literary device, I would say. So the very first line you can underline and write there, imagery, right? With the power of his imagination, in the very first line, he has used a very good sense of imagery. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. So he is standing over here and he finds two roads. Two roads going in different ways, right? Two roads diverged, and he says, and sorry, I could not travel both. Now, children, is it possible to take both the roads? Our day starts with choices, and choices means you have to take one. You cannot take both the choices in life, right? So he feels sorry that he could not cover both the roads. Roads, children, literally it means road, but actually symbolically he is referring to the choices. And be one traveler, long I stood. Means at this point of time, here he has to decide. So he stands long for a long time, right? Now children, why the writer has not used I stood long? The reason being, if he would have used the term, or the phrase I stood long, right? If he would have used that sentence, right, then the rhyme scheme would have been hampered. So he has to follow, he is a conventional writer who follows a pattern. That's the reason why he has used long I stood instead of I stood long. Okay, fine. So he says that I stood there. Why long? Because it is very difficult, to take a choice. So he stands over there and he tries to analyze which one would be better for me, which one would prove to be a better claim for me. Then I looked down one as far as I could. So from here, standing here, he is trying to analyze and look both the roads. And can he find out where the road would lead from here? It is not possible because it is going to go very long. So to where it bent in the undergrowth, and he's found that to some extent he was able to see. But after that the road bent somewhere else. Similar was the condition to the other road also. He could see to a certain extent, after that it went undergrowth. He could not see. Now, right? So he gets confused now which one to choose. Next paragraph says, then took the other as just as fair. So now finding which one looks fair, he decides that he would take that road. He would take that choice. And having perhaps the better claim, he feels that the one which he chose had a better claim, means it would give him more profit or more like favor in future. So considering that, normally we take choice in our life, right? When we get two choices in our life, for example, today I am in class 10. After that I feel that whether I should choose science or should I go for arts, right? I analyze. I feel that no, I will get more, like opportunities in arts, so I go for arts. And if I feel that I will get more opportunities in science, I would go for science. So this is what we do. So here the poet did the same thing. He found that one road gave a better claim, so he chose that one. And why? Because it was grassy and wanted wear. Because it was grassy. Grassy means, children, it was grasses were there. So children, now you can also think that a road which has been very less traveled and a road which has been more traveled. So the road which has been more traveled will not have grasses, and the road which is less traveled will certainly have grasses because very few people have trodden. So where very few people had trodden, he selected that one. This paragraph shows that the writer or the author or the poet was somewhere very daring, adventurous kind of person who wanted to take risk. He did not want to go with the herd. Generally, what do we do? we go with the crowd. If the crowd is going for science, I will also go for science. So this person does not believe in herd, following the herd. So he wants to make his own path, and he selects the road which was very less trodden, right? This reveals that the character is quite adventurous as well as daring by nature. Fine. Then here it says, though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Right. So here he says, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Means same was the condition of both the road. Now see, if I am standing over here, I would find that roads are similar. But to what he could see, one road was having more grasses and one was less. Now, third line, if you see first, second and third, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Now children, wanted wear, right? The consonant sounds are coming together. I just rub this part. The consonant sounds, we all know that there are vowels and consonants in English alphabet. So if I am talking about the consonants, I am talking about W, wanted, where, right? W. So the consonant has come in a sequence, and when consonant sounding word comes in a sequence, it takes another figure of speech which we call as alliteration. Fine. So in the second paragraph, we have alliteration. In the first paragraph, I asked you to mark the very first line and write their imagery. At the same time, children, the very first paragraph, if you see, second, third and fourth line. Second, third and fourth line starts with and. Right? Now when you get this sequence, right, any line, any word repeated 2 times or more, then in that case we consider it as anaphora. Right? This is also a literary device. Right? Literary devices are actually, you can say like it is a kind of grammar for poems. Right? Now next paragraph, if I move, that is third paragraph. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first one for another day. So what he says, that one road was more traveled, many people had trodden, many people had walked. So what I did, I kept it for another day. Now children, there an exclamation mark has been used because he wants actually to taste both. So what he has done, he has kept it for another day. Now is it possible? Once you have taken, for example, if you have taken the stream science, so what will happen? You will keep on moving, and will you be able to come back and choose arts? Not possible. So though he has kept the other road, the other choice for another day, right? This is what he has done. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, he says, even I know that once I have taken this road, what will happen, children? Suppose from Abu Road I am going to Udaipur. Right? So the road will go this pattern, and again it may come here, right? I have to take a turn, then again turn, and this way, it will lead to another, and I will reach somewhere else. And the road which I have kept it, will I ever come back here? Not possible. So he says, I know that one road will lead to another, several. Like if you take science, I gave you example of science stream. You can go for medicals, you can go for engineering, you can go for other opportunities, right? And that will, take you to a certain extent from where coming down to arts would be difficult. Right? So I doubted if I should ever come back. So he even says, he is quite sure about that he will never be able to come back. Because choices once taken is final. Life gives you one chance, one life, one chance. Last paragraphs, he says, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Children, the last paragraph, he has used future tense. It means that he has not reached to that position, but in the present time only he could decide that it will be a time when I will sigh, I will regret. Now what will he regret? Not because he has become a poet, he is not regretting for that. Right, children, like today, if I have become a teacher, I do not regret for that. Right, so he does not regret for he has become a poet, he regrets or he feels with a sigh because he could not travel both the roads, because he could not take both the choices. So children, the same will happen to us in life, that we will get one chance and that one chance would be our opportunity. So for that we need to have a very clear perception about our choice. We need to analyze and then decide what is good and what is bad for us. So I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, ages and ages, repetition. So the last paragraph, second line, you can underline ages and ages and write there repetition. This is also literary device. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. So children, I have already explained you that this man, being a very adventurous person, a very daring person, had chosen the road which was less traveled, right? And that has made all the difference. So children, today or tomorrow, whatever you will only be because of the decision making, reason of choice. Whatever choice you will make today, that will decide your future. So the poem, in short, tries to convey one very sound message, that one should have a very good sense of decision making, and one who has a very good sense of decision making can only succeed in life. Otherwise, whole life the person regrets. So children, once again, the poem in short, the writer had two roads, two choices. One was less traveled, means one was less taken by people, and one was more trodden, more taken by people. So what the writer does, the writer chooses the one which was less traveled, right? Proving himself to be a person who was able to take a risk. Children, there is a proverb, no pain, no gain. So this man goes with that he chooses the one which was less traveled. Fine. So the entire poem gives us one message, that we have to have a good decision making sense, and choices which we make in our life actually is very important. Right, children? So children, read the poem once again. Any doubt? If you have, kindly text me. Feel free to clear your doubt. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.